We have never had a judge that has done as much to insist on and enforce good education and equal education for all of our children and excellence for all of our schools. He was given the job by Chief Justice Burley Mitchell to enforce the Leandro decision requiring that in our state. Howdy Manning took it on and worked at it with gusto. He looked at all the measurements of how we're doing. He looked at all the test results. Every time new ones came out, he pored over them. He actually went to the schools that were poor performers and found out what was going on there. He talked to the people who were analyzing the test. He talked to the teachers. He found out what the problems were. He would often call me on the phone, frankly mad as hell, when he found that children were not getting the kind of good education they deserved. He has made history in doing this job. I am proud of him. North Carolina owes him so much, and it is a thrill to be here tonight with you by this video to honor and to thank him for all he's done for the children and the future of North Carolina.
Call him Howdy. He's someone that's been a friend for a long time.
I was delighted when he was appointed to the bench. He's just the kind of person you need.
Howdy has had a splendid career. We all know him about his educational contributions.
He has been an outstanding judge his entire career. He knows the law. He uses plain English, doesn't try to go off into flights of academia, but he gets to the point and answers the question.
I think the key thing that Howdy has done, talking about working on projects, but is the field of education. And what he has done with the Leandro case is so beneficial to the state and so important.
First of all, he's devoted to public education. And when I was Chief Justice, I assigned him, I had just written this Leandro case, which says
every child is entitled to a basic sound education. That's essentially what his ruling was, and that's the key.
I knew that we were going to face what back in those days they called massive resistance. Just everybody, unfortunately, would drag their feet and not get it done. So I knew we were going to need somebody to supervise the case when the Supreme Court sent it back to the trial court who would just light a fire under people and keep them moving. One of his major assets for what I was appointing him to is stubbornness. I mean, once he gets his teeth into something, he does not turn loose.
Howdy's the kind of person that he's steadfast, he'll listen, but he is very decisive.
Some people say hard-headed, but I think that he is a very tenacious guy. And once he's convinced as to what the real truth is, he's insistent on making sure that you get to that point.
I told him when I assigned him to the case, I said, you may hate me before this is over, but I think you're the only person in the state, only judge in the state, with the strength of will to see this thing out to the end.
He was bold enough to say that the Constitution doesn't say that you just pick and choose the few kids who can get into a program to ensure that they're going to get a basic education, but it ensures that all kids who might be at risk, who are at 4 years old, will have access to a quality preschool program so that they can start school ready to learn. That was a bold move because you're telling the General Assembly that it's got to spend more than it said that it wants to spend.
That seems like a simple approach that he took, but it's not. It was very controversial. It involved a lot of funding.
Through that tenacity, he was really able to show the ongoing, firm, exceptional commitment to advancing public education for all the kids in the state. And that, I think, is one of the qualities of the recipients of the Vernon Malone Award. As a public servant, Vernon Malone was in the public eye more than 40 years, continuously. And the same thing with Judge Manning. Howdy was on the bench for the better part of 2.5 decades, and had this case most of that 2.5 decades, and so became, without doubt, one of the real experts in what we needed to do to ensure quality education for all the kids in North Carolina.
There's nobody in the state who deserves this award. I knew Vernon, and I think he would have said Howdy was the one who should get this award.